Hi, so I'm shooting a video today. It's the beginning of the holidays here in Port Alfred. It's an overcast day. I was planning to be at the beach to do some portraiture of tourists that were coming around to the town and offer them a portraiture service for them while they waited for the kids at the beach. Had my poster ready, had my portraits, my old portraiture ready, and I can see the weather behind me. It's overcast. I'm guessing there are not going to be a lot of people at the beach today, so I'm not going to head on in that direction. So with my morning plan changing and the rain falling overnight, I just woke up in the morning, decided I'd do a video shoot to try and capture a little bit of my personality, and I've ended up having to take the shoot through the reverse camera of my phone because I couldn't find the help I needed timeously enough to have someone else shoot me at least a meter away. So upon my face in your face, but that's just the way it's going today. A lot of my struggle recently has been trying to manage a business and start a business of creativity and art, as in the ABC Studios that I've just launched. Making a little signboard for my home where I stay, a studio that I built with my father, with his help, his most directive help, about 3 years ago, and I've been living in it for 2 years. And I got involved in trying to turn that into an art gallery with all the art I've been doing over the years. Been in the art circuit for 10 years now, but not having sold much every year, and have recently reinvented myself making little lithographs, printouts of all my older artwork that has eventually got sold, and those printouts I then work over in pastel and bring new life to them. So I get a large painting that I originally did, and I condense it down to a little lithograph. However, the support in the town has not been that creative for my creativity, and having launched ABC Studio with an opening event of which only 10 guests attended, which made me happy to some degree. I haven't had any people arriving at my studio during the course of the day, open 24/7, even after newspaper articles and the such. And brewing into the holiday at the moment, there are maybe 15 days left to go of our holiday season, and no one has contacted me yet to come around to the gallery. So the pebble that I've dropped in this lake at Port Alfred, trying to rustle up local support, is obviously seeming to need some international support, and I will be approaching cruise ships shortly to try and get aboard the auction system they have aboard cruise ships. I have tried the local university here, the Stennon University, to try and get their predominantly ladies to come and visit me, not far away from the university location, and even they haven't arrived. There's definitely some lack of trust in this town, and I know it might be because of some of the articles I've written on the internet, although the internet isn't able to follow a narrative, which I complained about on the internet and on Facebook, and my narrative hasn't reached my friends. It's only reached them in bits and pieces, and the greater story has been left untold. Hence me wanting to shoot a little bit of a character reference as a short video to let you guys know that I'm of sane intention, good purpose, humble human being, loving other people, and just trying to make a difference. And the result is that I'm finding obstacles left, right, and center due to a long progress of life, being part of a minority population. Get this one, a minority population, a minority segment or section, fighting for the rights of schizophrenic individuals, having been diagnosed at the age of 26 with schizophrenia, unfairly so. I don't actually think I manifested too many of the symptoms, but was not given a chance to enlighten my mind, but merely hospitalized badly and put into a course of medication that for many years I've tried to resist, and have only fallen short into psychosis many times. And psychosis itself might be a bit of a strange term to you. It's basically a state of awareness whereby everything becomes loaded with sign, symbol, icon, and you feel like you're actually observing the patterns of God around you, but quite unable and maybe insecure in your own being to manage that much of a profile, and have to resort back to hospitalization or medication, and this is how the story goes. It's a story of big society coming along and creating a situation where people who break the mold and are explorative and psychologically different are often medicated. It's the big pharma tradition. And my argument lately has been through going through big titration, been through that, going down from many milligrams where my voices that I hear in my head, let's say it's just voices in your head, but there's a deeper dimension to them, were silenced, and I operated within a very much fridge-like scenario around me for many years, trying to function as a body in a corporate world, and never got really far because I was left unnoticed and secluded. And lately, from living in this coastal town, Port Alfred, where I find myself on this holiday inn, not inn, very much in a hospital of my own making, my studio that I built with my dad. I have now broken free of a large degree of that medication, and stand as an example to actually tolerate the conditions of the mind that occur and the challenges that occur in the mind beyond being medicated and beyond the very narrow framework the doctors have to actually tell you what's going to happen to you if you do not listen to their course of medication. And in my experience, every time I tried to titrate and come off a low dosage and failed and went into a state of psychosis that was irreversible, and I'll get to why that's irreversible now. I was put into a high doses every time I went back into hospital. Never mind that a similar doses would have been okay. So climb from 2 to 4 to 6 to 8. See how much respect you have after that, and how much of your libido is left, how much weight you've put on, and how dumbed down you've been. And then you're talking of a big reversal process to actually face a lot of your fears and karma and come out of that. And I nearly got it right. And I was mentioning something about psychosis. What was it again? It escapes me now. I left a point unanswered. But moving forwards, there's still a lot more recording to do. I'm going to leave a few videos on Facebook, but right now I just want to leave this as a bit of a character reference, not to go in too deep. The earlier video I was going to shoot was going to be about just me talking about some of my childhood experiences and how much of a natural childhood I have had, being a bit of a good performer in childhood days, although did fall under the leash or the lashes of corporal discipline in those days. I was cheers man, cheers buddy. I was attentive student, learned much in the classroom, played a lot of ball sports at home instead of doing enough homework, but got all the way through a university training, and the great education behind me, very sensitive to the disadvantaged community and the time-to-time pressure they put on me to help them out. And my call today to a friend, which delayed this video because I got into a negative space, was to say, buddy, I can't help you and your baby out right now. My community around me is not really supporting me as well as they should. I'm not making the money I am from art, and hopefully one of these days we won't all be selling each other biscuits, because that's where it's going if the creative individual isn't supported. And I'm not talking about rising above anything other than a pure equality between all people and advantaging the disadvantaged. And having said that, I have worked for the minority of the schizophrenic population for a number of years. I've been on television twice and radio once, and the foundation that I was getting involved in lost their support through a lack of funding by the Lotto. And back then, like 20 years ago, I was becoming famous already. The plug was pulled away, and many hospitalizations later, although the hospitals can be described as quality experiences at a price, initial hospitalization that I experienced was a bit traumatic and was left sedated under the axe of medication for 3 weeks without any recourse to any proper internal breakthroughs. Roughly treated, roughly judged, and that continues into the moment as I break free from a mold of stigmatization and a play that happens whereby, that's what I wanted to say about psychosis. I've actually externalized my psychosis, so the stuff that the doctors were saying was happening inside, it's actually happening on the outside. That's why I always felt in touch with God during all the psychosis, and why I was willing to relive the experience by being non-compliant to my medication, because I knew God was involved in this picture. Every time I experienced psychosis, I knew I was able to see the patterns of the things that happened to us at large, and I wasn't alone in that, and it wasn't just happening in my own little copy, my own head. And so having externalized psychosis and been on a bit of an enlightening journey and a bit of a quickening for 6 months now, as I've gone on to less and less medication, I've realized that psychosis exists in society at large, and we don't heal because we haven't healed in society at large. And true enlightenment is only possible once we achieve better balances of inequality and better levels of education and awareness, and we can all start to ascend together. I'm kind of one of that type of Brahman. I'm not here for my own purposes. I'm here to have a group experience, and that's where I'll leave you at. I'm a team player, and never have not been. And because of that, have been able to see my belonging in my mission to challenge the medical community on the rather rough judgment of me as a schizophrenic individual needing heavy course of treatment. And leave this video as testament to my wholeness and my willingness and my happiness. God bless.